Hi, my name is Elizabeth Letts, the author of Finding Dorothy. As a writer of both nonfiction and fiction, I find that people always assume that they're like two completely separate countries with no border in between. Of course, fiction is all in Technicolor. Fiction is Oz, and nonfiction is Kansas, all in sepia. But to me, that's really not the case. I took my inspiration from the words of Frank Baum himself. Frank Baum believed that there were other worlds that existed just aside our own. They were real places, and that you would be able to see them if you could just learn to push aside this flimsy veil that separates us from these other worlds. And so as I was writing Finding Dorothy, that's what I tried to do. I used the concrete building blocks of nonfiction, facts, to build up a real world. But then I tried to push aside that veil and let these incredibly vivid people, Frank Baum, Judy Garland, Maud Baum, come alive again and walk across that stage of the world one more time. I was 4 years old and I was living with my family in Houston, Texas. We didn't have a color TV at the time, and the local television store opened up and invited the neighborhood families to see The Wizard of Oz, that annual showing, the special, on their color TVs. I remember going and sitting on the floor with my family and watching The Wizard of Oz for the first time. It's a moment I've never forgotten. The reason that this story has had this kind of staying power is because ultimately it's a story about hope. It's a hope for a better world. And when you learn the story behind Finding Dorothy, you learn the story of a real American family who didn't see that something good was coming from them, who lived through incredible hardship and a lot of change at the end of the late 19th century when society just seemed to be changing so much. One of the things that people have told me about this story, one of the things that was really meaningful, was the character of Matilda Jocelyn Gage. This was Frank Baum's mother-in-law. She was a very, very outspoken suffragette. She spent her entire life working for votes for women. And when she died, her dream had not come true yet. Women did not get the vote until almost 20 years after she died. And yet, all of that effort that she put in was not for nothing. Eventually, her efforts and the efforts of other people came together to make a better world. To me, that's what the song Over the Rainbow is about. It's about the fact that sometimes times are dark, but that you know something better is coming in the future. And to me, that's what the story of The Wizard of Oz is about.